Hey guys, it's Abby here. First of all, sorry about the slightly crappy webcam. It's on my little notebook designed for Windows XP, so it's a bit old-fashioned. But I promise you, I'm still here in the present. It is 2018, so I'm still here. It's just not quite catching up with the audio. Anyway, I don't normally do this. My friendships aren't that consistent, so I sometimes tire the few people that I know to talk to out talking to, and also I recently saw a couple of videos online of some people with mental health problems just venting and talk about how they feel, and they got, from what I saw, some pretty positive and helpful feedback, even when they were just basically talking that they needed help. So I'm hoping I will get that too. So to get to the point, I feel like I'm at a little bit of a dilemma at the moment. Kind of relationship / identity dilemma. To break it down, I was diagnosed with Asperger's in my early 20s, and I'm nearly 29 now, so only a few years I've really known about it, and I don't know too much about it. And also I've just kind of got out of my first serious and sexual relationship. I lost my V a little bit late in life. Funny childhood / religious upbringing, you know how it is. Anyway, yeah, so kind of just recently got out of that one, as far as I know. Break it down. We met on Tinder. We were together for 4 months, just over 4 months, and well, I've been told I overthink things, which I can probably agree to. So I was like asking all my friends and googling, what does this mean? What does that mean? And things like that. I just think, it's my first relationship. What do I do? Is this good? Is this bad? Is he a good guy? He seems like a good guy. You know, he hasn't hit it and quit it. He's still around. So, anyways, it seemed to go mostly okay. There was, first of all, I found him very attractive. Our first date went pretty good. We had a few things in common. He maybe thought he might have Asperger's himself. Maybe it takes one to know one. But I remember, like, I just noticed there was something kind of hyper focused about him during the first date, which it was just something which the usual relaxed neurotypical a trait they probably wouldn't have, maybe. Yeah, so our first date went very well. Had a lot of good chemistry. Found him very physically attractive, and he found me very physically attractive. With my overthinking, I thought he was more attractive than me, and that set my insecurities off. So we've had some pretty good physical moments. Yeah, and we've had some laughs together. The differences are he works full time. He studied hard at university to get the job that he is in now, and I've done like part-time jobs my entire life because of my mental health in the past. I just haven't really wanted to sorry, sometimes I get a stutter, so if I just go whoa, 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 just bear with me, I'll let the words out. I haven't really wanted to risk that, because I don't want to go back down that path again. It's a long, strange story, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. But basically, it kind of got worse and worse towards the end. I'm not exactly sure why that is. It's some of it was due to me overthinking, and I think I have some trust issues with men in general and people. Men and people in general, but mostly men. A couple of that might be because I've been lied to online, and I've had somebody turn around and just verbally abuse me, and then I bumped into them later, and you know, it wasn't it wasn't really anything completely out there. People have gone through way worse abuse than I have, but for me, it just really took me by surprise, thinking that you're just hanging out with someone, they think something else, then when they hear that you don't see them that way, they attack you. I haven't really forgotten that. And then I saw this guy at the train station. It's completely another story, but basically it made me a bit jumpy and a bit afraid of this guy. He wasn't bad in that he verbally insulted me. He just got quite emotional and expressive. So I didn't really take that well. I would have said my expectations generally in a relationship would be friends first, lovers later, which means just casual. Treat them like I treat all my friends. He was going all out, which is lovely. I'm slowly learning to get used to romance, but I've always found it strange. I appreciated it. So his efforts weren't completely, for naught. But because of his, because of my blunt way of speaking, and to feel close and completely safe with someone, I suppose this would be where I can show love to them, how I can show love to them. It has to be a completely non-agendered, non-biased, calm, non-judgmental conversation. And I didn't feel like I could have that with him. I do like the guy, but it just seemed like I brought out the worst in him. He is 2 years younger than me, I should say, which isn't a big deal. So I'm basically 29, so he will be 27, the same month as mine. But yeah, I mean, I like him as a person a lot, but it being my first one, it just got pretty bad. It's like we brought out the worst in each other, and he called me confusing, which I can totally understand, and probably a bit selfish as well, which could be seen from two perspectives. One is that, oh, he just doesn't get me and know how to talk to a sensitive person, when they've been verbally abused or lied to, and just things that you don't expect. You just bring that to the next person that you're with, and you can't help it. You sometimes twist their very normal reactions to you thinking the worst, or they have an agenda, or they're out to get you, or something. So that got really bad, especially with lack of people to talk to about it at the time. I would turn to the internet, and that filled my head with all sorts of ideas. But even if it wasn't for the internet, it was just really hard for me to understand the language that he was speaking. I know about romance and sex because of course you've seen it and you you hear people talk about it, but what first happened in my head was, because he's the one with the car and the one with the money and I'm not at the moment, I'm working towards it. I've never really felt comfortable in my own skin. He was the one like getting things for me and visiting me and taking me places, and which is all really nice. I don't think there was anything bad behind it. But I started to feel resentful of that because it made me feel inferior. He was great about it. He didn't want me to feel inferior, but just it did. So I kind of just thought, I can do stuff too. So that came later, but I didn't really raise that issue till later, when I'd already started to resent him for trying to be nice. Sometimes it's a little bit of pressure, and I could act very erratic and jumpy and scared. Like, my go-to response is flight, when something happens that I don't expect. That so he didn't really know how to act around that, and then it came to the point that he was scared of how I was going to react, or if I was going to take off, or if I was going to try and break up with him. For me, breaking up just means I've had enough of this conflict. So I can't do this thing. I can't cope with it anymore. I started to build. So he built his response of being scared of my how I would react, which didn't help me. And because he got emotional, I shortly built a default response of shutting down whenever he got emotional. I couldn't talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him. I just shut down, and I couldn't respond. I almost went catatonic. Catatonic, and maybe not catatonic, but I did shut down, poker face, no talking, don't care. You can go, you can stay. I don't care. But then when he goes, and a few days later, I'm like, yeah, I kind of miss him. We should hang out again. So I would reach out again. Usually another disagreement would ensue. Because I will admit, maybe again, just depending on perspective, when it comes to the whole compromise and work thing, I probably am a little bit selfish, for lack of a better word. Like, there would be times where he would talk to me and tell me about his problems, and I would listen. But I was kind of thinking, what do I say? I don't know how to help you with this. Have a good time, and I would say something to try to help him out, but it didn't feel authentic. Sure, I can help people out, but it has to be on my terms. Everything has to be on my terms. In that respect, I would be a pretty low maintenance girlfriend, because I'm be like, you do your thing, I'll do mine. If you want to get together and have fun, and every couple of weeks, I'm cool with that. I might just text you every now and then just to see if you're still alive, how you're doing, what you've been up to, and then might text again next week or whatever. I don't care. I'm easy. There doesn't have to be this set routine. If I message you and just say I miss you, you don't have to think it means I'm being clingy. Basically, I would just say, if you think I'm being clingy and I'm annoying you, just tell me to F off, and I'll go and do my own thing, and I'll talk to you later. I'm easy. I'm completely easy with that. But the thing is, it was a bit up and down, because I did get a bit clingy at the beginning. I hadn't done it since, because again, this was from a past experience. So where the first guy that I ever kissed at age 19, he just disappeared, and didn't tell me why or where until I saw him later at the club I was joined at the time. So that kind of really tore me up. He said, "You know what guys are like?" Well, I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't know where you went. I don't know what happened. What did I say? What did I do? Or do you not like me anymore?" It really tore me up. So when this guy's texting habits changed, that started to go through my mind, and as a default response, I said, I was a bit passive aggressive, and I said, "That's it, I tried to break up with him," and that happened multiple times. So it really wasn't very, very healthy. But the thing that I don't get is, if I can, when I said I wouldn't do that again, I didn't. But for me, I like to be able to discuss openly anything, almost anything with my partner, like relationships in general, how we're both feeling, how we're both doing. And every time I would bring something up, he would get emotional because he got scared that I was trying to break up with him again, understandably. but it made me feel like I couldn't be open with him, so I stopped. And then the relationship became very dry, and he was just going on about as normal, and but I lost interest in conversation with him because I felt like I couldn't really be myself. And sometimes it was okay, and sometimes it wasn't. But I just found it really hard to understand his language. I mean, I'm sure he's not this way around friends and family. He's had a string of relationships in the past, short-term ones. So I got the impression that he was applying what he learned with those girls onto me, which probably isn't a good idea. Not knowing me. In a lot of ways, he was a really nice guy. He loved my cat. He tried to be there for me. Tried to make sure I was okay, quite overly, and then I felt a bit inadequate because I wasn't really up to. Oh, I couldn't really live up to that standard, but then that's just my insecurities talking. So anyway, yeah, but that killed things pretty fast, and in the end, we couldn't even do sex anymore without fighting. It was that bad. So on the one hand, this probably means that we are a terrible match for one another. The last encounter we had didn't go so well, and to him I think it was like, yeah, no big deal, we had a fight, we'll talk out later. But I was just like, I'm done. I can't put up with this disagreement anymore. It's killing me, you know. So after that, after he left my house that night, the text didn't go so well. Like every time I talked to him, he was just emotional and on edge, and it got me scared again. So I didn't sort of hang around long. And one time I broke up with him. I know this sounds really, really unhealthy, and it has been, but I just want to get some perspective. One time I broke up with him, and it was all fine. I left one line of communication open. I didn't delete him. It was all silent. Then a week later, he messaged me. He was like, have you thought this through? Are you sure you want to do this? And basically I caved, and we met in the park, had a chat. I wanted to keep things as they were, but his emotions kind of overrode that, and we got back together again rather painfully. He seems nice, but it's like I bring out the absolute worst in him, and I don't know why he feels the need to act like this, or why he wants to keep me around if I'm hurting or confusing him so much, because he's called me confusing. And also why he can't just relax and just treat me like the same as a platonic friend. I don't need to be treated with special treatment, at least not before we know each other. It'd only been 4 months. For me, that's nothing, physical or not. And I admit this might be selfish, but whether there was physical moments or not, 4 months is nothing. Whatever happened, 4 months is nothing. You don't know that person that well yet. And it kind of just blew up. So the latest is I tried to stay just casual buddies online. He's on holiday at the moment, and this is really helping actually. But he couldn't really seem to change the record. I would just want to talk to him and say, hey, how's it going, and wait on holiday, and how are you doing, and things like that. But he just got tense, and it was all about the relationship. How are you doing? What are we gonna do about this? What are we gonna do about that? It's like, God, just stop. Just chill the fuck out. So maybe he's a bit insecure in himself. I don't know. He might. I mean, harsh to say, but there's obviously a reason why he's single, despite the fact that he's very good looking, and he is very good looking, in my opinion. And but I mean, I try not to bring out the worst in people. He's just he just seems so emotional and so intense around me. But anyways, the latest thing I did was, instead of blocking him, which didn't work because every time I did unblock him, we never knew what was going to happen, and he can't seem to stick to his own rules, and neither can I. So I deleted him instead, and now I feel such relief. But I still kind of miss him because he is a nice guy, and we do have a few things in common, despite the disagreements. Which was just the tension building and building and building. Things in his life, things in my life that I was trying to juggle. I think it just still went boom. If it wasn't down to the fact that we're very, very different personality types, but it was down to him being emotional and worrying about me leaving him all the time. Is that normal? Because really, I don't. I don't really understand why you need to worry about that. If someone's going to go, then they're going to go. There's nothing you can do about that. But if they want to talk, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go. Just listen to your partner, you know. I think I have to me, love is shown by, real love is shown by acceptance and trying to do what that person needs, not what you think they need, and trying to do whatever it is that makes them happy, not makes them unhappy. And if that's not you, then expect that too. But there's that, and there's also my past, which made me overthink things. So good that we're on a break now. And in terms of keeping exes as friends, I don't know. He's like my first real ex. Is he an ex? I don't know if he's an ex. I honestly don't know if he is. It's not a good dynamic. But my first thought is, this might work out if this was this and that was that. A big one is my lack of experience sexually. That was a huge issue, because I don't know how much he is experienced in that, despite what he says. Because I thought one of the things I was looking forward to about being in a relationship was just being able to experiment and just do maybe some crazy things, just whatever, just to show your partner that you love them. And that didn't work out so well, and that kind of finished before it started, with me still not knowing anything, despite one position. I mean, it was okay, but he got very fearful about it, so it totally killed the mood for me, and then I was put off. Few more disagreements. So I don't know if that is me, or if that is me not knowing and being completely clueless. It's kind of hard to end it on this one. I don't really know myself, because I can be a very passionate and sexual person for sure, but it has to be on my terms. And usually that is spontaneity. Yeah, you know what I mean. Sometimes if someone just basically just arrived completely out of the blue, yes, that would work, and say let's go. Yep, I'll be game. Or it was somewhere random. Yep, I'll be game. Things like that. But when it's talking about it and discussing it and things like that, it's really hard for me to take on board, even if it's good for me, and that's what caused a lot of arguments, basically. So I don't know if it's going to be the same if we do ever end up in that situation again. I don't know that we will. Or for future partners. I guess everyone's got different preferences, but yeah, that thing left me a little bit upset, because the few times I really tried to show love, by that, it just went back in my face because it had to be on my terms, basically. And like, women take a little bit longer than men to get down to that. So I'm hoping it won't be like that my whole life, because that is something that I would absolutely love to have with a partner. Whether it's with him or someone else, I would quite willingly be as passionate and try whatever as as possible, as long as it's safe. Some people even push those boundaries. I found a couple of things that I did like that I hadn't tried before, so that's good. But it was all kind of cut short in 4 months. And then there's some people out there that don't even like sex at all. And I sometimes thought I might be one of those people, because when my moods hit me, it's difficult. When my moods hit me and we're like in the middle of that, I'm just out, just no interest whatsoever. Sometimes to the point where I can feel physically sick. It sounds horrible, but yeah, it's very sporadic. But usually it's from emotion when I am there, and the emotion and the feeling of safety was rarely there. So obviously that didn't help. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling now. But basically, that was that. And part of me wouldn't mind giving things a chance again. I don't know, but only if he can really calm down. I think he didn't really get how I function. And I'm not sure like how if the text discussions can't even go that well, then I do have very little hope with that. But I just don't really want to turn other people or whoever it is, future partners, away because I'm callous, or because I'm unpredictable, or a little bit selfish, or it has to be on my terms. There are other people that I've felt safe around, but those people have been platonic friends, to wrap this up. So if I was in a relationship with those people, things might completely be different. I don't know, because then you're around them all the time, and then you see their quirks and you see their faults, and you're with them, so you can't just be easy and open, and you have to try and be nice and stuff and things like that. Maybe it just comes down to compatibility, but basically it was. It was very like romantic-y, relationship-y stuff, and it was kind of nice, but also very odd to me. And also, with my inexperience, he didn't really know how to make me feel safe, like emotionally safe, because he got emotional and scared. And then yeah, so. Again, I don't know if that's. I'm not sure where I was going with this. I don't know if that's me. Some people just do get emotional. If it was bad timing. If it's just me. If I'm just not cut out for serious relationships in general. I don't know, but I did beat myself up about it a little bit. So if there's any, and again, I miss him. I'm going to give it a month at least. But like, yeah, it's just nice to keep things calm for now. I deleted him, but it's easy to get back in touch again if I ever wanted to. Right now, I'm just focusing on myself. Maybe I'm worrying too much, but I do say this because my relationships have all been pretty shitty from the start, to be honest. It's very often been me. It's like a nice person trying to be nice, and then me just being like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that? I didn't need you to do that." But it doesn't mean I have no empathy or no kindness. It's just shown in a very different way. So it's strange, but at the same time, I do feel lonely. I do like the guy. But if I absolutely bring out the worst in him every time, I think the last text conversation I had, I was kind of just begging him to listen to me, and that we have to seriously talk about things, and I was having serious doubts, and and wanted to know what he thought, and I wanted to know why he wanted to keep it going no matter what when it was hurting me, but also hurting him. And this is from the time where it went quiet for a week, and then he basically tried to get me back again. I didn't expect that, and that got my defences up. I wanted to know that, and he said he wasn't in the mood to argue, and maybe talk later. So that after that, I was like, can't say any more then, dude. But I miss him, so I don't really know what to do. I think definitely time will be a good idea, but yeah, I mean, I guess they're all different. Because in some ways he was really what I was looking for and what I would have needed, but in others our personalities just seemed too heated, which is really strange because I'm a very chilled out chilled out person who doesn't need a lot in terms of gifts or material things or attention. I don't really need a lot, but somehow we just ended up fighting. Has anyone else had these experiences? Or yeah, anyways, after all that and me with the overthinking, I think I might start therapy soon, because it does trouble me sometimes when I overthink things about people, and I twist it and I think that they have some sort of agenda. It's not healthy. I know it's not healthy. Sometimes it could just be like a red flag, but not a malicious red flag. So I think that's what it was. But to wrap it up, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to rant, because as I go through each day, he's not like he's always on my mind, but kind of like miss having him around sometimes. But it seems every time I do talk to him, he's can't get through to the real him and just have an open, relaxed conversation. It seems like it's just too heated. So I don't know. Maybe I should end up leaving it forever, or maybe I should give it some time. But if he does move on, then he'll probably be happier for it. If he does know what he wants, that is. But yeah, it's kind of hard breaking up with someone who's bad for you. You still do miss them, and in a way, yeah, I did love him. But I tried to take the higher grounds because we were bringing out the worst in each other and hurting each other, and he didn't seem to think that was the best idea. He trailed more towards that way. But yeah, that's basically. I just wanted to say that. And thanks for listening, everybody. So take care and let me know what you think if you have some time to spare. I would appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye.